For most of us, pandemic life is quite uneventful. But for celebrities, it's a different story. Kendall Jenner recently faced backlash after throwing a Halloween party where most attendees appeared to be sans face masks, and they were instructed not to post party pics on social media. But mom, Kris Jenner, said everyone tested COVID negative before attending. Kim Kardashian also is catching heat about her 40th birthday party on a private island, stating that everyone got health screens before attending. So while celebrities party it up, what's in store for the rest of us, especially this holiday season? Dr. Bita and Shawn Nasseri are still here to weigh in on, and some would say, a little bit of madness. So, guys, you see all these celebrities, and it looks like they're throwing COVID caution to the wind. So, you know, here we are, holiday season, my favorite of the year, and there are going to be a lot of people saying, well, I just saw on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok some celebrity doing something. What about me? So what do we say to people about safety during the holiday season?
It's very important to communicate with general population what precautionary steps they can take to improve their own health and their safety and that of their loved ones. Our goal is to limit crowding, limited to smaller groups, but also give them guidelines and a sense of hope where they can create certain bubbles where they can celebrate holidays.
We know that when groups are less than 10, there are no more than 2 or 3 pods that mix. If you're primarily outside, your risk of transmission of the virus is astronomically lower than if you're inside in one contained space, like a dining room.
Right.
So traditionally, what we would consider is be in a larger room in your home. Kind of think outside the box. Put an air filter, an air purifier on either side of the room so it draws any breathing aerosols away from your guests.
Yes, but you know, for most of the country, we're heading into winter, so it's going to be probably cold for a lot of people. So outside may not be available to a lot of people because of the temperature. And a lot of people don't live in big houses where they can afford to have 8 to 10 people in a room with all this ventilation. So I think that people still have to be very considerate and think whether or not what they have available to them, does it still make sense to proceed with having this gathering? But you also say that there's something that people can do to their noses that can offer more COVID protection. What is that?
So the simple fact of very gently rinsing or cleaning your nose very much reduces the exposure to each individual virus or bacteria.
And how do you recommend cleaning?
The best way is with a purified or a preferably sterile, what we call isotonic. So same salt as the inside of your body. You jump into a swimming pool, your nose burns because there's not enough salt. You jump in the ocean, your nose burns because there's too much salt. So isotonic saline means same salt as the inside of your body. So if you missed, it doesn't have to be a fire hose. It doesn't have to be, you know, a big river. It just needs to be a trickle up there to just rinse out the front of your nose. Think of like when your hands are dry and cracked, they're not as good about protecting you from staph infections and things you touch.
Sure.
Same with your nose, because 95% of respiratory infections come in through the respiratory tract. The way we get it is we breathe it in and out through our nose. So if you can clean your nose a little bit, you're actually going to really improve the doses or the exposure to any of these pathogens. And we know this is flu season. Yeah. We want to really reduce that so there's not so much that synergy of people who've gotten COVID and other respiratory viruses, including the flu and parainfluenza and pertussis, that really makes people super sick.
Well, Dr. Bita and Shawn Nasseri, thanks for your great advice, and hopefully people are listening and they will heed to some of your advice.
Thank you.
So much.
Thanks for having us.